Could you please set this up for us? Most people that'll be watching this have never heard of the Chesapeake Bay Recreation Area.
Right.
This has just been submitted by Senator Van Hollen and Mr. Sarbanes. Is now on the table officially. And I just thought if you could just explain in simple terms what that proposal is.
Well, I'm going back probably about 5-6 years ago. The Chesapeake Conservancy, which is a nonprofit ENGO, environmental non-government agency organization rather, had came up with the idea of creating a national recreational area in the Chesapeake, and I use the word region. And it was initially, I was told at the initial meeting with Mr. Joel Dunn, who is the chairman of the Chesapeake Conservancy, that it was going to be a land-based operation only, and this and that. And then it's, over the time, it's progressed into being more of a Chesapeake Bay issue and granting and getting access to the natural resources of the Chesapeake Bay. And it's moved through over the past several years to create amplify the treasure that we have here in the Chesapeake Bay as the largest estuary in the Northern Hemisphere, and to bring more people. Their main goal is to open the focus of the Chesapeake Bay and bring more people into the region so that they can enjoy the bounty and the beauty of what we have here in the Chesapeake and Maryland and Virginia. They've moved through Congress to partner with the NPS, which is the National Park Service, and they will be the managers of this national recreational area. So that is that they are partnered, I guess, with the Chesapeake Conservancy, and I'm not sure if they're completely partnered with Department of Natural Resources or the state. And I guess that'll come down the road as we move farther forward with this. It was just introduced to on the floor of the Senate, and they're hoping, I guess, to get a vote on it. I don't know how it stands. There's not much transparency on this, Dave. I mean, I'd like to see a lot more, but that's why I would say that if 9 out of 10 people don't even know that this is happening, I can be honest with you. I mean, you can go around the shore here and over on the western shore and ask them about the Chesapeake Bay National or the CNRA, Chesapeake National Recreational Area, and they said, "What's that?" And it's had a little adverse effect, but we're going to work through it. We had the Moore Commission that was initiated by the Hogan administration that basically addressed exactly what this national park is trying to do, and I did support the Moore Commission because my main concern that was created, and the Moore Commission was basically to accentuate the parks, the landings, accessibility to our natural resources here in the state. And they had to come up with a price and a funding and all that. But in the process, the CNRA kind of took the steam out of it, and it moved, it morphed into that. And my problem is I really never did support this, because I'm a firm believer in the old saying, when someone says I'm from the government, I'm here to help, you get a little skeptical. And we're looking at the primary reason of why. And when I met with Mr. Dunn, it was to increase notability of the Chesapeake Bay on a national scale. Well, and I did say to him, I said, you realize that the Chesapeake Bay is the largest estuary in the Northern Hemisphere, correct? Yes. And that Governor Reagan or President Reagan already declared it a national treasure, right? Yes. Well, then why do you want to bring the Park Service in? To make it more accessible, to the public. Well, my comment to him was, well, right now, I can go anywhere in the Chesapeake Bay and do anything I want through the Department of Natural Resources in the local counties, and don't need the approval or the oversight of the Park Service. I can hunt, fish, crab, clam, water ski, parachute, whatever I want to do on the water. And I don't need the oversight of a national park to do it. But the bottom line is, they got a bigger engine than we do, and that's why it's moving forward like it is.
How does it work financially? I mean, do you have a sense of how much this would cost taxpayers, and what would be the net return for that investment?
Well, being that they haven't done a feasibility study, being that they haven't done an economic impact study, I really can't comment on that. I do know that there is excess of $30 million is going to be invested in this. We'll find out, I guess, when they go to the House side and go into appropriations, and we'll find out what it's cost. But it's going to cost into the millions of dollars. And see, that's another one of my major concerns is if you look at the track record of the National Park Service, it's not that good. I mean, they're pretty much in the red right now with operating expenses and everything in the tune of a little over 35 billion with a B dollars. $35 billion. So, this was a major concern of mine back at the time. I mean, at the time they were talking about it, they had rolling park closures all over the country, Yellowstone, Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, all these areas had rolling closures because of the amount of people. And then COVID came and it just, we saw what happened to our parks here. They were shutting them down because they were full to capacity. And, right now, do we need 2 more million people coming into the Chesapeake Bay region? And I do not think you can find a person, unless they're just looking at a dollar bill on generating income. Right now, the economic and the social impact and the environmental, especially the environmental impact, will be extremely negative.
Could you go through perhaps your 3 to 4 greatest concerns about this being implemented?
My major concern is the track record of what they've done in these national recreational areas. I mean, they had one in Florida that was not supposed to negatively impact anything to do with the natural resources. Well, they turned on that. They have one currently now up in Pennsylvania that is I believe it is the Delaware Gap National Recreational Area. They're getting ready to turn that into a national park, and there is great concerns because ingress and egress of people that enjoy the natural resources is going to be limited or basically eliminated. I mean, the way the Chesapeake Bay is right now, Dave, and I mean, everybody can see, number one, all you got to do is leave Sandy Point and go to Ocean City on a Friday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon or a Monday morning, and you'll see the amount of traffic we have. We've got major traffic concerns. The impact on those people is going to be negative. It's going to be negative on the traffic. I mean, you even got Anne Arundel County now doing rolling road closures on Saturdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and not even Thursdays now. Bringing this many people into the Bay, and some of the other major concerns that are very important are the fact that we are right now on very limited natural resource regulations. Right now, we got regulations on crabs, we've got regulations on oysters, we got regulations on the striped bass, which is a big issue here in Maryland. And they're talking about more stringent regulations. We've got a major pollution problem in the Bay through Conowingo Dam and the Back River that is not helping matters right now. You can't, Queen Anne's County, for instance, can't even get an upgrade to their sewer system because they are failing to be compliant with the 2025 Chesapeake Bay Agreement. Now, is this the time to bring this national park into the area? And the answer is no. We don't need more people. They've changed their approach. The other thing is concerns me. They've changed their approach. They have backed off going to county offices and county commissioners and county councils, and are now accelerating their focus on the economic development side on different counties, saying that this is going to bring big money. Well, with big money comes headaches, more people, more trash, more pollution, more traffic. Right now is not the time to bring this into the Chesapeake Bay. I mean, we're at a very critical area on the Bay right now. I think they've neglected to look at that, but their excuse is well, that we get the money, we get the appropriations, we can address it. Well, that to me is putting the cart about 6 blocks ahead of the horse. I mean, the horse can't even see the back of the cart right now. We need to address these problems so that when we open up this national recreation area, if and when we do, people are going to want to come here. Right now, I mean, a lot of people are saying, hey, you want to come swim in a cesspool? I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, we've got major issues with pollution and traffic and all this other stuff. We got global warming, we got climate change and all this. So, is this a way just, to draw attention? Putting lipstick on a pig is what you're doing. And it's not, I don't think it's a very good idea at this time. I think we need to sit back and look. Maybe the government can give us some money to help, restore oysters, clean up the Bay, get these pollution problems straightened out. And then, I think we can all work forward going into a national recreational area if we still want it. But I'm just not in favor of it now, and I will be very, very critical of when they do try to do it. Well, the one thing I do want to make everybody aware of, evidently this Senator Van Hollen and Sarbanes and Cardin's office is telling people that the watermen of Maryland have accepted this? The answer to that is no. Thumbs down. We do not want this. The working watermen of Maryland do not want it. It's been voted countywide. It has also been voted with the Tidal Fish Advisory Committee has voted not to support this issue. We don't like the transparency of it. We've got the Mako conference coming up on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, 19th of this month down in Ocean City. It will be addressed down there, which it has been over the past several years, and still the majority of the counties that will be affected by this, other than Anne Arundel, know nothing of it. And the one thing I do want to put in closing, though, Dave, is that we understand, and I've talked to several of the heads of watermen's groups up and down the bay. We understand we're not going to beat this. They're going to drive it through. It's typical government, protocol to drive this through. But the people in Maryland that are involved in the natural resources, and I'm not just talking watermen, I'm talking commercial guys, recreational fishermen, hunters, property owners, and everything. They must have a seat at this table moving forward with this National Park Service, because the old saying is, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. There's not been much transparency on it, but moving forward, which we're going to have to move forward. I mean, we're not going to be able to beat this, and it's a horrible thing to say. It's, when the government wants something, if they don't get it, they'll take it. So they're going to get this one way or another, but, we want to be involved at the table as a primary stakeholder, because one thing I want to emphasize, there are two types of stakeholders in this world. There's a primary and a secondary. The primary are those of the people that are directly affected, that work in the natural resources in Maryland and that benefit from the resources. The secondary people are basically the ENGOs that just take an interest in it. They don't get their paycheck from it. They don't feed their families. They don't feed people. And I do respect their secondary stakeholders' position. But to accelerate them to the primary stakeholders' position, yes, I do have a problem with that.
Captain Rob Newberry, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Appreciate it.